Going to dive right in for some of the best highlights. Now, I have another video I'm going to dump. It's going to cover more of a lengthy clip of the State of the Union address, but if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it, the full clip. Now, I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes long, but it is most excellent. Wow. Particularly all Democrats just stood and cheered when President Trump called them out for voting against middle-class tax cuts. They won't clap for vets, they won't clap for angel moms, and they won't clap for the support of screwing the American class. It's just unbelievable, y'all. So we're going to go over some of the clips that I thought were just, wow. Check it out.
All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
Look, there they are. That's absolutely disgusting, is it not?
They wanted...
That's just crazy. Oh, yeah. We can't hate the Americans enough. We can't hate them enough. Here's another great highlight. Surely we can all agree that no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Democrats, they stayed seated. They stayed seated. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. And this is what Trump says to them. Now, they had a young girl in there with her parents who... her parents wouldn't call her by a pronoun. The school took her, kept her, and wouldn't let the parents have her. I don't know how, some detention, and put her in a detention with boys. So Trump is pointing this out, but here we go. This is one of my favorite moments, what he says to them.
But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we've been talking about
I know, right?
We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Look, no Democrat is standing. Not one. Not one.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy.
Oh, he just laughed. No, you guys are crazy.
Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time,
Yes.
didn't we? Huh?
Look at them. Look at them. They're pathetic. Pathetic. They are pathetic. He said they were destroying the country, and we stopped it just in the nick of time. Here's a couple of comments from that clip. In California, the state can take a 12-year-olds from their family if they don't want them to transition. This is government child mutilation, and it's pretty disgusting. Wow. This is crazy. I think this is great. Trump realizes he's having a field day with the Democrats. Whoever came up with the strategy to say the most sane things possible and point out every time the Democrats do not stand in support is genius. And he did it every time. He did it every time, and he gave them a glare and a look like nobody's business. We have another clip here. President Trump memorialized Diana Zawinski and introduced her mother, who was crying in the House chambers. It was pretty heartfelt, right? This woman. It was filmed. Her daughter was filmed being murdered by a psycho. Trump lambasted the Democrats for refusing to stand. And you are sick people. I promise you we'll bring justice for the magnificent daughter, Ayanna. Trump blamed Democrats for their soft on crime policy, saying Ayanna's killer, am I saying her name right? Iyana's killer should have never been out on the streets. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on her face as she looked up at her attacker. The last seconds of her life, she died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America. Yeah, he had a long arm list of stuff that he did. Here we go.
Pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We're honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska.
Anya.
In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte?
That's
Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly.
Man.
She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America. Came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
This is so sad. Both of those women have had tragic losses. That's Erica Kirk right there. This poor woman, I can't imagine. And watch this.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
And they did not stand for that woman. They did not stand for that woman. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. This is how we see you Democrats. Yep, that's exactly what they were doing. That's exactly what they were doing. They couldn't stand for that woman. Nope. But I bet if it was a different president, a Looney Tune, libtard, and they were like, oh, pretty and good, they'd all stood and cheered for them. They'd all stood and cheered for them. Nope, not these victims of heinous crimes from illegals that shouldn't have been here. And these lax laws letting them out. It's insane. We got another clip here of Democrats did not stand when Trump said not tax on Social Security for seniors. Democrats don't care about our seniors. Wow. Wow.
No tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Look, nobody's standing. Nope, we want to tax that. We want to rate it. We want to rate that. None of them
No
stand.
tax on Social Security.
None of them stood. None of them stood up. It's pathetic. Now, the cameraman zooming in on, okay, so it's a guy that's in Congress, and he wants to be called Sarah, but his name's probably Steve or something, McBride. And as President Trump condemns transgenderism as diabolical on children. And the cameraman pans in on this McBride guy who wants to be called Sarah.
Daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
That was a guy, by the way. And that's her. She's a lovely young woman now.
Daughter was there.
That's crazy, right? Look, that's a man, by the way. That is a man. We got another clip of Trump just told the Supreme Court justice to their faces that their anti-tariff ruling backfired because his tariffs will remain in place. John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett are trying very hard to keep a straight face. The Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement, congressional action will not be necessary.
Already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system already.
You know, a lot of people are complaining about the tariffs, that it's hurting American businesses. The American businesses that are being hurt, it's because they're importing stuff from China, for wherever they get their product, and then they have that shipped in from overseas, and then they do whatever they do, and then they sell it here. So the problem is that why are you not buying stuff from inside the country and you won't get the tariffs? So when you start hearing people complaining about all the millions of dollars that these people are losing from the tariffs, it's because they are purchasing stuff outside the country. Either they're having China or some other country manufacture their stuff, whether it's toys or whatever it is, and then send it over, and then they sell it to the market here in America. So yeah, I don't feel sorry for them one bit. Why aren't you not manufacturing stuff here in America? Which that's what Trump wants to do. He wants to bring back manufacturing and have everything inside the country. Caroline Leavitt posted this. She is the press secretary for the White House. And here she says, here's what the Democrats in Congress refused to stand up for during the State of the Union. Putting American citizens over illegals, which I'm going to have some clips of that. Voter ID laws. The murder rate at the lowest since 1900. Keeping violent criminals locked up. Protecting parental rights. Stopping fraud. Angel families. Price transparency. Taking on drug cartels. No tax on tips, overtime, or Social Security. The most secure border in history. The contrast could not be clearer. Democrats are crazy. President Trump and Republicans are common sense. And this is where he, in this one, this is where he does say they are crazy. Trump on Democrats not standing up during why he believes should be applauses lines during his speech. These people are crazy, and I'm telling you, they're crazy. And they are crazy. We got Democrat Al Green. He needs to make the retarded book. So this guy, Al Green, is removed from Trump's State of the Union address by security after displaying a sign saying black people aren't apes. Yeah, he's going to be entered into the retard book, the never-ending retards, because, wow, bro. I tell you what, libs, Democrat libtards, they don't have a sense of humor. And this is all over that video that you had Obama and his wife were gorillas, and then you had Biden as what was he, not a chimpanzee, maybe he was a baboon, but you had different animals. You had, some of them were hyenas, and I thought it was funny. I didn't find it racist. It was hilarious. There he is. There he is. What a retard. Really? Bro.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure.
Yeah. This is an awesome clip. This is after the speech.
You take the rest of the day off.
I think we have to. We're going to have to. Thank you.
All right, guys.
You killed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Virginia. Best speech with the president.
You take the rest.
Yeah, he killed it, man. It was epic. It was epic. I thoroughly enjoyed it last night. I guess if you want to call it setting a trap or Trump is brilliant or the strategy was epic, and I think it's working because all this is going viral. I mean, Trump set it the perfect trap and Democrats walked right into it. Tonight, which was last night, in the State of the Union address, President Trump dropped a master class in political chess. He looked every single member of Congress in the eye and said, so tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration and affirm a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement and stand up and show your support, the first duty of American government is to protect American citizens, not illegals. Not illegals. He knew exactly what he was doing. The Democrats, who spent weeks screaming about dictator Trump, stayed glued to their seats. Not one stood, not one clapped, not one had the guts to publicly choose America first. And now the viral clip, Ready clip, is already exploding. The Democrats just proved on national television that they will not stand for American citizens over illegal aliens. This is political spin. This is a psyop. This is them. Yes, is Trump manufacturing a political attack? The internet is about to eat itself alive. Trump, fire. If you saw the trap, this everywhere, it's let every American see what just happened. Now, I just thought that commentary was really good, but we need to check this out. We need to check this out again. Look at this guy falling asleep.
So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Yes. And look at the... They can't stand. It's their first duty. They're represented the people of America, but they can't stand and clap for that. That your first duty is to protect Americans, not illegals. No standing whatsoever. I just love this clip, guys. Look at his face. And watch it. Watch it. I can't get enough of this clip. He knows it. They fell into his trap. He said the right words. He said the right words. Sorry about the mouse. I think it was pure genius. No clapping, no standing, no USA, nothing. Look at this guy. What a excrement. Deport him too. That was great. That was just great. This person writes, network executives are furious as President Trump's 2026 State of the Union address is on pace to be one of the most watched political speeches in American history. That is amazing. Y'all want a closer look at Al Green's sign, Black People Aren't Apes? I probably should show you what somebody wrote, but it's kind of racist, but it's funny. Keep in mind, neither of these women are actual American citizens. They're here as our guests. And somehow, which we need to change the rules, somehow they're allowed to hold these positions, who create laws, who help make laws to govern all of us. And they don't have America in the best interest. No, they want to transform America. Disgusting that someone brought to this country from war-torn Somalia as charity can commit imaginary I said imaginary. Yeah, she's imaginary. She commit immigration fraud, get rich through stealing, show hate for this country, and shout at the president during the State of the Union address without consequences? I mean, this person is saying we need to denaturalize her. She needs to be deported. But look at this oncoming behavior of somebody who is civilized with discord. You can disagree with somebody, but you shouldn't act a fool at the State of the Union address. It's just showing her Somalian in her.
Sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Burn. Burn.
Sanctuary cities that protect the...
So apparently, I think what she was hollering out is, she said, you should be ashamed. And I think I read somewhere that she was saying, you killed two of my friends. But I haven't confirmed that, but more will be coming out. I can't read lips. But this triggered her. She got triggered. She got triggered because Trump wants to remove illegals out of the country. And the Muslims, yeah, they are Muslims. And all of the Somalians and all the fraud just in little old Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance.
So J.D. Vance, he's going to lead. I'm hoping to see we need to see some results. We need to see some arrests. We need to see some deportation.
He'll get it done.
Of these people.
Find enough
of these people.
Fraud. We will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly.
Get rid of
That's
all
the
the
kind
fraud.
of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah.
Let's check this out.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
I believe in the other clip they had, I just showed you where Omar was hollering all that cray-cray. She was hollering all of that cray-cray.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID.
Now, before he did that, I've been kind of skipping around in this. He brought up Mandami in New York right before he started this. So he said, "Hey, in New York, you have to have 2 or 3 pieces of identification just to shovel snow." And then he breaks into this. It was great. It was great. And he gets a standing ovation.
All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None.
None of them are standing up. None of them are clapping. They don't want...
And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%.
Oh, actually, he's fixing to say it just now. My bad. About Mandami. We'll let it play out. We're going to speed it up a little bit.
And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card.
Is that not crazy?
Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
Here, 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 here. Here, 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 here. Here we go. What is the reason?
The reason they don't want to do it. Why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are...
Well, we got a response from Donald Trump. Trump wrecks Ilhan Omar and Rashad Tlaib for their unhinged screaming at the State of the Union. Actually, I seen another woman doing it too. There was another... It looked like a white woman, an older woman that was beside all of them, like a whole bunch of those women. They were wearing like they all dressed the same that they call everybody. They're all wearing like cream dresses, like that. Like well, you don't see the bottom part. Sorry. calls on them to be sent back to their home countries. When people can behave like that and knowing that they are crooked and corrupt politicians so bad for our country, we should send them back from where they cometh and fast as possible. They can only damage the United States of America, and they can do nothing to help it. I think we need to change some laws. Either you have to be like third, fourth generation before you can become an American citizen, or not an American citizen, but to hold office. To hold office. Let's see if I can read this, because it's kind of small. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I kind of made it a little bigger. When you watch low IQ Ilhar Omar and Rashad Tibby as they screamed uncontrollably last night at the very elegant State of the Union, such an important and beautiful event, that they had the bulging, the bloodshot eyes of crazy people, lunatics, mentally deranged and sick, who frantically look like they should be institutionalized. When people can behave like that and knowing that they are crooked and corrupt politicians so bad for our country, we should send them back from where they came as fast as possible. They can only damage the United States of America. I agree. They can do nothing to help it. They should actually get on a boat with Trump deranged Robert De Niro, other sick and demented persons with, I believe, are extremely low IQ, who has absolutely no idea what he is doing or saying. So, of which is seriously criminal. When I watched him break down in tears last night, much like a child would do, I realized that he may be even sicker than crazier Rosie O'Donnell, who is in her own right now in Ireland trying to figure out how to come back into our beautiful United States. The only difference between De Niro and Rosie is that she probably somewhat smarter than him, which isn't saying much. The good news is that America is now bigger, better, richer, stronger. Let me see if I can read the rest of this, than ever before, and is driving them absolutely crazy. President Donald Trump. So if you don't know what he's talking about with Robert De Niro had a video. He was having an interview, and she asked him a question. He just started crying. It's like, what is happening? I'm going to grab a couple of comments here from what we just read. Omar and Taliban will be featured in a lot of Republican campaign ads leading up to the midterms. That's faux show. And Nick Sordo said, yep. And they're particularly leaders of the party alongside AOC now. Let's see. This person says, yes. He's talking ugly. Degenerates like this hate our country but fight so hard not to go back to their own. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that they come here from a crap hole country and then try to change us. Get rid of the white people. White guilt. Import more low IQ third world invaders. Oh, crap. Ilhar Omar made her first public appearance since her infamous State of the Union outburst. It was a total disaster. CNN's Wolf Blitzer gave her 3 chances to apologize for her barbaric behavior last night. I like how he said that because, first world people don't act like that. Even the other Democrats weren't acting like that. Except that one guy, Al Green. What a retard. Okay, gave her 3 chances. She refused every single time. Blitzer, the House Democrat leader, Malcolm Jeffries, advised your caucus, the Democrat members, to either skip the State of the Union address or sit there in silence. Should you have just boycotted the address, or do you think you violated the guidelines set out by your own leader? Omar, no, I think I was really unavailable. The president talking about protecting Americans. No, she's saying it was unavoidable. God, I can't even read. Maybe I need to read it from over here. Omar, no, I think it was really unavoidable. The president just pissed me off. The president talked about protecting Americans. Yes, he did. And not illegals, you retard. and just had to remind him that his administration was responsible for killing two of my constituents. See, I thought she did holler that out. Two of her constituents. Good Lord. These people, they are crazy. Blitzer tried a different angle. Blitzer, many members of your Democrat Party, criticizes the Republican counterparts when they interrupted President Biden's State of the Address. Boy, I'm glad they brought that up. Remember somebody hollered out, "You're a liar"? Y'all remember that? I watched it. I think it was one of his last State of the Union addresses. Don't hold me to that. But, oh, man, he got demonized by the media and everything else. Boom. Kudos for Blitzer for pointing that out. Oops. Happy Mouse. Happy Mouse. Blitzer. Let's see. Did we read that many of your Democrat Party criticized the Republican Party? Yeah, counterparts that they interrupted Biden. Biden. I thought it was, I misread that. Biden's State of the Union address. Now, I was thinking of Obama's State of the Union address. Boy, I'm going way back. I guess while I was reading it, that's where my brain was going, so pardon. But there was an Obama State of the Union address where one of the Republicans yelled out Democrat. I don't know what happened in a Biden. Do you have any regrets at all about the interaction we played between you and President Trump last night, Omar? I do not. I think many people look at the moment when the president says it's our responsibility to protect Americans, and he does not acknowledge the fact that two Americans, two of my constituents and two of our neighbors were killed. What an idiot. They were killed obstructing justice. They were killed because they shouldn't have been there. They were killed because they listened to y'all's propaganda. They were killed because your party's been telling people, insane people, people who are easily led off a cliff, that Trump is Hitler and everybody's Nazis in the Gestapo. What do you expect? Blitzer, with hindsight, Congressman, do you think would have been better off boycotting the speech like so many other Democrat lawmakers did? And I've got some coverage of that, by the way. It's retarded. Or did you do the right thing by actually showing up there, Omar? I brought 4 Minnesotans up as guests for the Minnesota delegation. It was important for us to be there, to bear witness, to hold space for our constituents, that we have lived through an occupation from federal law enforcement, oh my God, that have been terrorized and have seen our neighborhoods be killed and traumatized in so many ways. Oh my God, have y'all not seen Somalia? Why do you think she doesn't live there? And so, no, I think it was really important for my constituents to see me there. It was really important to my constituents to hear that I was reminding the president that Renee Good and Alex Preddy were killed under this administration. Yeah, they were killed because they were interfering with people getting out the most heinous criminals in America. And now we have Angels Day. You moron. I sped it up just a little bit because it's kind of hard to stomach even listening to her talk. I'll be honest with you. Here we go.
The House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, advised your caucus, the Democratic members, to either skip the State of the Union address or sit there in silence. Should you have just boycotted the address, and do you think you violated the guidelines set out by your own leader?
No, I think it was really unavoidable. The president talked about protecting Americans, and I just had to remind him that his administration was responsible for killing 2 of my constituents.
But they're not going to bring up the hundreds of thousands of Americans being murdered by illegals. But no, she's going to talk about 2 retards. Rochelle, why are you talking ill of the dead? Look, they wouldn't be dead if they weren't retarded. Let's be honest. Let's not live under a rock or pretend that this isn't the case. The case is they shouldn't have been there. I can't imagine me dropping my kid off at school and like, hey, I'm going to go disrupt a government operation and then expect to walk away scot-free. I mean, this is insane. Preddy has a gun with him. He causes problems. He touches an officer. He interferes with the officer picking up a woman and getting her out of the way. He should have just, in fact, he should have just walked back. Nope, he got right in there like, I'm going to help this girl. And you hear a bunch of people going, well, he was helping her. He didn't need to be shot. No, he shouldn't have interfered, period. He shouldn't have interfered at all. She's a retard. I mean, guys, it's just common sense.
In Minneapolis, many members of your Democratic Party criticized their Republican counterparts when they interrupted President Biden's State of the Union address, as a lot of us remember. Do you have any regrets at all about the interaction we played between you and President Trump just last night?
I do not. And I think many people look at that moment when the president says it is our responsibility to protect Americans. And he does not acknowledge the fact that two Americans, two of my constituents, two of our neighbors were killed. And it was important for me to just remind the American people that the president and his administration was responsible for killing two American citizens.
With hindsight, Congresswoman, do you think you would have been better off boycotting the speech like so many other Democratic lawmakers did? Or did you do the right thing by actually showing up there?
I brought 4 Minnesotans as guests for the Minnesota delegation. It was important for us to be there, to bear witness, to hold the space for our constituents that have lived through an occupation from federal law enforcement, that have been terrorized, that have seen our neighbors been killed and traumatized in so many ways. And so, no, I think it was really important for my constituents to see me there. It was really important to my constituents to hear that I was reminding the president that Renee Good and Alex Preddy were killed under this administration.
Wow.
The House
I think she definitely is at the top of the list to make the #1 retard of 2026. Boy, we still got a long way to go. So now we got Pelosi. Yikes. Wow. Why don't this woman retire? I mean, they are million upon millionaires. What is she doing? So Pelosi's caught off guard as CNN points out that Elizabeth Warren stood and applauded as President Trump ridiculed her with regard to banning members of Congress from trading stocks. She starts mumbling incoherently as she clearly doesn't have a response ready. I think a lot of them, maybe most of them, have had insider trading. How do these people become millionaires? How? I mean, it's inconceivable. Maybe they make 100, 200,000 a year, if 300 tops. How the hell are they becoming multi-millionaires and owning tons of real estate everywhere? It's just ridiculous.
There was one moment, Madam Speaker, where he called you out specifically around, of course, congressional stock trading. What do you say back to him?
I say back to him, as that's what members said, look at your own self. The inference he wants to draw is there was something wrong with that, which there wasn't. And if there was, people get prosecuted for it. For a long time now, we've been trying to pass this law. It doesn't have, now it has more support than it had before. And
Elizabeth Warren stood up and applauded. Elizabeth Warren stood and applauded tonight when the president talked about it.
Well, we all did. I did too. He said, did Nancy stand up? Yeah, I did too. A lot of people stood up. A lot of Democrats stood up. I think that will pass, depending on what the bill is. I mean, what we had, we thought we could pass. It was actually a tougher bill than Governor Spanberger had put forth. We thought it could pass, but it was clear that it wasn't going to make it to the House and the Senate. But in any event, he gives his shout out. I don't pay any attention to him. What I'm concerned about is our democracy, which he is destroying.
What was the clip we saw earlier where Trump says, we stopped them just in time? He points at all of them. He says, y'all did this. Y'all ruined the country, and we stopped you just in time before you could completely destroy it. And it just kills me that they come out and go, oh, well, we're worried about our democracy. No, you're worried about more third world low IQ people coming in here and replacing us. It's obvious, my guy. It is obvious. And for her to say that, well, yeah, we're all for it. We didn't have She said we wanted to get this passed too, but we didn't have the votes or the momentum or what? This should have been a no-brainer for hundreds of years. Whatever, inside trading, what have you guys been doing? They've been getting themselves rich all this time, guys. And then Trump finally come along and said, we're putting a stop to it. That is amazing. We got J.D. Vance reveals he watched congressional Democrats cowardly look around for clues about whether to stand up or not, or clap for common sense statements like America's before illegals. The cowardice a few Democrats politely clapped. We're worried about being primed. They all look around. They aren't actually saying I'm going to stand because this is common sense. They're looking for cues from their colleagues because they don't have the courage. This is astounding to me. This is just astounding to me.
Well, I saw a couple of things, Bill. First of all, obviously, most Democrats didn't stand up or clap. And what a shame that is. What a sad commentary that is on the Democratic Party, that the idea that the American government should stand for American citizens, not illegal aliens, that shouldn't be controversial, but apparently it was to the Democrats.
Should be a no-brainer.
But I will say, Bill, something that I saw that probably most TV viewers didn't see was really the cowardice, because there were a few Democrats who sort of politely clapped. They didn't want to stand up. I guess maybe they were worried about being primaried by the far left fringe of their party. But they were all looking around. They weren't actually saying, you know what, I'm going to stand and support this because this is a common sense, obvious statement.
Yeah.
They were all looking around for cues from their colleagues because they didn't have the courage to stand on their own. And that, more than anything, Bill, is the saddest commentary on the Democratic Party, that not only will they not stand for the idea that Americans should come first, they won't even have the courage of their convictions. They lean on the person to their left and their right rather than actually have some conviction. That is unfortunately what's true about Democrats in Washington today.
Well, it is being talked about a lot about how many Democrats chose not to go last night. Senator Fetterman, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, last hour.
Wow. Wow. These people, they can't think for themselves. They got to look around at another 50, 60, 70 people that are around. Should we clap? Are we supposed to clap for that? But this sounded like we should clap for that. America first, that sounds, we should be clapping for that, people. What are we doing? Why are we not clapping for this? Wow, that's crazy. All right, here we go. Here we go. So this sounds like that guy Kelly that was arrested for storming the church. It's just saying that James Woods posted this, y'all. Y'all remember James Woods? Yeah, man, the actor. He was in Casino. He played the pimp. He was epic. He's saying this is not a parody. This is an excerpt from the excerpt from the Democrats' so-called alternative State of the Union address. One thing is now abundantly clear. If you are still voting Democrat, you need to have a little talk with yourself, or you need to go get your head examined. And that is for sure. We're going to have to speed this up a little bit because, good Lord, it's going to be not too good, right? Here we go.
To prison in Minneapolis.
What up?
I'm fresh out of an ICE prison in Minneapolis. I've been arrested 3 times by ICE over absurdity, over us being ourselves, over me singing songs like, hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan white, there ain't no place I'm going to. And then all of a sudden, he's not ready for primetime player ICE agents with 2 weeks of training come after me. I got arrested in Portland. I got arrested in Minneapolis in the last 3 weeks twice. But they can't erase a movement, all right? What I went through is 1/1000th of a lot of marginalized people and what they have to go through in those ICE detention centers. And I want to tell you something right now. There's an announcement. Pumpkin Spice Satan is making his way to the State of the Union. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to rev up the show right now. We're giving out prizes. We're going to have bingo. We're going to storm the White House with love and compassion.
Oh, my God.
I'm fresh out of an ICE prison in Minneapolis. ICE.
He said we're going to have bingo. Oh, my God. How much you want to bet the audience is a bunch of elderly people? What? Oh my God, you can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. That's him, and I hope they throw the book at him. I hope they throw the book at him. Oh yeah, I saw a post earlier, and I think I have it in my stack of stuff. Maybe we'll go over it tomorrow. One of the people that was attending the church is suing Don Lemon. Yep, in civil court. Sue the crap out of him. And don't settle. Oh, man. That's just epic gold. That's just epic gold. All right. And Joy Reid did make the retard page today. This was the Democrats' counter-protest to President Trump's State of the Union. Y'all ready for this?
No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. No pueden encarcelarnos a todas. Imprison us all day. Hey. Woo! Okay.
Wow.
I think I did okay. You did amazing. Yes. Woo. You get an A. I don't give grades though. We just go on vibes, and the vibes were immaculate.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there was only like about 75 people there, by the way. Like nothing. And in fact, it's turning out to be his State of the Union address is possibly one of the most watched in history. Just when you think I didn't have another clip of the alternative. Now, this looks like the same stage we just saw Kelly on that was dressed like a furry. It says, let's check in on the DEMS counter event to Trump's State of the Union address.
I'm a mother. I am a physician, and I have a flag. And I am the proud representative for Oregon's 3rd Congressional District. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, God.
And tonight, I defy Trump and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
Oh, my God.
I'm a mother. I am a physician, and I have a flag.
So she's a physician. You better stay away from her. You better stay away from her. Look what they promote. They're promoting furry. This is retarded. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know I had to go down to the comments. Hey, I should have went to the comments on Kelly's, but I didn't. But this one says, please tell me this is AI. And In Wokeness says, I have bad news for you. It's real. It's real. It was the same stage Kelly was on. Is this real? That can't be real. Tell me this isn't real. Sorry, it's real. It's wild how many Democrats have embraced Portland's anti-facade frog, anti-fascist frog as a mascot, even though his social media is full of some of the most deranged, violence-glorifying rhetoric out there. Wow. Look at this. Anti-frog. They're a bunch of retard frogs. You know, we went over so much stuff. I don't know if we covered this one. Democrat Janelle Bryan. She's made the retard list. Maybe we did, where she says it's racist and uncomfortable when Trump asked everyone to stand up for American citizens. Y'all remember who she is? Representative Janelle Bryan. And she is a Democrat from Oregon 5th District. Oregon City, Albany. Wow. She's retarded. She says it was racist. No, we can't stand for America. We have to stand for illegals too. All right, folks, listen up. We're going to try to wrap this up. Brett Hume just dropped a truth bomb on Fox News. Every red-blooded American needs to hear this. The Democrat boycotting President Trump's State of the Union and trying to run their own sad little counter event is nothing short of hopeless, and none of it works. And I said Democrat. I meant Democrats. Well, y'all can read it with me. He said in plain and clear, the smartest thing Democrats could do is turn up and be respectful. And then if they have something critical to say, they say it afterwards. True. This business of trying to compete with the event is mission impossible. That's exactly right. While President Trump delivers real results and unites the country with wins for hardworking folks, the left throws tantrums like spoiled kids, taking their ball and going home. They can't stand seeing America succeed under strong leadership, so they sulk on the sidelines. No, they don't, even if they had leadership, which they do and they're all retarded, they destroy the country. But guess what? The American people see right through it. Thank the Lord. Cheer the victories and keep putting patriots like Trump in charge. This is what losing looks like. The desperate, childish, and completely out of touch with the greatness we're rebuilding. God bless President Trump for rising above it all and keeping America first every single day.
I think it's hopeless. I mean, first of all, you have the Democrats' response. You talk about something the world little knows nor long remembers. You can hardly top that. And then these are going to have these little stunt plays around it. You remember last year they held up their paddles or whatever they did. They've tried various things.
But is this better than that? Not being
no,
it's
I
worse,
don't think.
right?
I think none of it works. That the smartest thing the Democrats could do would be to show up, be respectful, and if they have something critical to say it afterwards or whatever. But this business of trying to compete with this event it's mission impossible.
But to Britt's point,
I think it's hopeless. I mean, first of all, you have the
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, man, we can't pull out without Chuck U. Schumer. Chuck U. Schumer defends the Democrats' choice to remain seated, disagreeing with Trump's thesis that the government has a greater duty to its citizens than the optimists of economic migrants. The opportunistic economic migrants. It was legitimate and right not to stand. He wants to stand he don't want to stand for Americans, but he would stand for the illegals.
What did you think when he asked him to stand?
Bottom line is very simple. We agree we need to protect Americans. He's not. By his reckless ICE agency in Minnesota, 2 Americans were killed. Americans are being pulled out of their cars and beaten. Americans' houses, the doors are being knocked down, without a warrant. And no other police department in America, run by Americans, has done what ICE has done. So yes, we want to protect Americans. He's not doing it, and that's why the American people are against what ICE is doing.
No, they're not.
It was legitimate and right not to stand.
I don't know why he didn't call him out on it to say how many people are in favor of getting illegals out. What is he talking about? They double down and they stay delusional and keep repeating this and saying Americans don't want this. Yes, we do. We want them gone. We all know that pretty good they were retarded. They got themselves killed, interfering. Good Lord. 2 Americans are killed. People are being drug out of their car. Houses are getting doors kicked. Yeah, because you guys weren't working with them in these cities where you guys go arrest an illegal and then call ICE. ICE just comes, 2 guys, 1 guy, and picks him up and goes. But no, y'all wouldn't even do that. Y'all let the illegal sneak out the back of the jailhouse. Don't tell them, and then ICE has to go hunt them down. So shut up. We're getting there, man. Every time I go to get out, something else juicy pops up. Here's Jake Tapper. He says, he's repeating Trump. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Well, they are. They want child mutilation. They want the borders wide open. They don't want to deport. They don't seem to care about the people who were murdered by the illegals. They wouldn't even stand up for the angel families or any of the victims. That's not something we ever heard from Obama or Biden from that stage. Yeah, because they're crazy too. Sean Duffy, let's hear what they got to say.
He said, quote, these people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. I mean, but that's not something we ever heard from Obama or Biden from that stage.
No, listen, we've never had a speaker rip up a speech either.
Oh,
but when you're saying issues like, we're talking about trucking, we have, and it comes in my space, where you have states that are issuing driver's licenses to illegals who haven't been trained to drive a 80,000-pound truck on an American road. We have a little girl that had a life impacted for the rest of her life, and she's 5 years old, and it was an illegal who hit her. I think the question becomes, why doesn't every Democrat stand up and go, no, we want well-qualified drivers on American roads?
Word.
That's not partisan. We don't want illegals who can't speak the language, contrary to American law for decades, to not be on American roads. I think those are easy issues, Jake, and I don't think we saw Democrats stand up and support them. We got some applause for the U.S. Olympic hockey team, but that was probably one of the only bipartisan moments of the night, which I think is too bad.
Yeah.
Again, if inflation's down, Democrats should applaud it. If real incomes are up, Democrats should applaud it.
Yes.
Those are good things that we should support as Americans. And just because Donald Trump's in office doesn't mean you have to sit on your hands. You should applaud that because that's good for America.
He said, quote, these people are crazy.
Do y'all just like Tapper just looking at him just makes you cringe? He's just all like, good Lord.